This video is a little overdue, but I think it really deserves its own dedicated episode. Today we're covering two important model updates. If you're running locally, you can simply delete the older versions and keep only the latest ones. One is replacing the old LTX2 with LTX-2.3 1.1, and the other is replacing the previous Flux.2 Klein 9B with the Flux.2 Klein 9B KV version. Let's start with LTX 2.3. First, a quick note. The 8-step distilled version of LTX 2.3 has also received an update, and the latest release is now version 1.1. Compared with the original 2.3 release, it offers a better visual aesthetic and style, noticeably improved audio quality, and most importantly, more accurate audio-video synchronization. So overall, what exactly makes LTX 2.3 better than LTX 2? I've listed the key improvements here, and you'll definitely feel them in actual use. Much better detail retention, significantly improved motion stability, stronger prompt understanding, clearer speech, and native support for vertical video generation. There are also some excellent features that DrawThings doesn't support yet, such as start and end frame control and audio-to-video generation.
You probably weren't expecting me to sound like this.
LTX 2.3 also comes with a native spatial upscaling feature, and DrawThings supports it in a very clever way. When you download the LTX 2.3 model, two spatial upscaler models are downloaded automatically as well. To use this feature, you need to turn on High Resolution Fix under Advanced Settings. Then the first pass resolution inside High Resolution Fix has to follow a very strict rule. It must be exactly 1/2 or 2/3 of your target resolution. Once that condition is met, the model can trigger its native spatial upscaling to enlarge a smaller video. That's exactly where the 2x and 1.5x models from the download package come into play.
LTX 2.3 is now on DrawThings. Go try it now.
A few simple resolution examples will make this much easier to understand. One thing I especially want to point out is that to make things easier for everyone, DrawThings automatically calculates the optimal spatial upscaling setup. As long as the first pass resolution is suitable, it will figure out the best option for you. I've also put together a DrawThings LTX 2.3 toolbox so you can copy some key parameters from it and paste them directly into the DrawThings app. As the name suggests, spatial upscaling means generating at a smaller resolution first, then enlarging it by 2x or 1.5x. So your first pass resolution can't be too small. If it's only in the low 200s or 300s, that falls outside the model's trained resolution range and can lead to messy visuals, broken logic, and distorted characters. My recommendation is to keep the shortest side of the first pass resolution at no less than 384. Otherwise, in my opinion, spatial upscaling doesn't mean much because all you're doing is enlarging a flawed low-resolution video. Next, I'll show you some common text-to-video and image-to-video examples, including the prompts, duration, resolution, and the local generation time on an M5 iPad. And don't worry, I'll share all of the parameter documents for reference.
Nice day, graffiti wall, I say hello to you all.
大江东去，浪淘尽，千古风流人物。
The world is your canvas, so make sure you leave your mark. Everybody is nobody until your product astonishes somebody.
今天终于手搓了一个网站，可把我累到了，我得赶紧休息休息，睡觉去了。
我爱你，可是你爱我吗？
Honestly, LTX 2.3 is currently the most powerful and efficient open-source audio-video model available, and it runs extremely well in DrawThings. If DrawThings later adds support for audio to video and start and end frame control, then it will truly become something you can use for real production work. Right now, the biggest issue is this: even if you generate a perfect 10-second audio-video clip, when you move on to the next 10 seconds, you may be able to preserve visual consistency with image to video, but you still can't keep the audio consistent with the previous segment. That's why audio to video is such a crucial missing piece for LTX 2.3 in DrawThings. It's the final loop that needs to be closed, and hopefully DrawThings will support it soon. Alright, now let's move on to the second part, Flux.2 Klein 9B KV. The 9B KV version was released sometime after the 4B and 9B models. This is not a dramatically upgraded, better image quality version of 9B. Instead, it's a speed-optimized version of 9B designed for multi-reference image editing. Its core improvement is the addition of KV cache. When you repeatedly generate variations, make edits, or test different prompts using the same set of reference images, the model no longer has to fully reprocess those reference images every single time. Instead, it caches the important intermediate results it has already computed and reuses them in later runs. In multi-reference editing tasks, this can deliver up to about 2.5x faster inference. To put it simply, a model without KV cache is like a struggling student doing 100 reading comprehension questions by rereading the entire passage 100 times, getting slower and slower as they go. A model with KV cache is like a top student who highlights the key points and writes notes the first time through. When a new question comes up, it just flips back to the notes and answers instantly without rereading the whole article. The speed difference is huge. In DrawThings, I only need to show you one multi-image editing example for you to immediately feel the speed boost. This is actually a 3-image editing task. The image on the canvas is picture 1. The t-shirt and pants in the mood board are picture 2 and 3. Our editing goal is to replace the clothes on the person in the canvas image with the clothes from picture 2 and 3. When I used the regular Klein 9B model for this task, the whole process took about 135 seconds. Then I switched to 9B KV and ran the exact same task again, and the time dropped to 68 seconds. On larger resolutions and more complex multi-image editing tasks, this improvement could be even more obvious. As for the final output, the results are actually very similar. So in both text-to-image tasks and image editing tasks, 9B KV can replace the regular 9B in the vast majority of scenarios. But in my testing, there is one clear exception: face swap tasks. I stress-tested face replacement quite aggressively. Face swapping is not just about reusing reference information. It has to resolve the conflict between the identity in the original image and the identity in the reference face. If the KV cache locks in the original face information too early, it becomes very difficult to fully overwrite it later. In face swap or head swap tasks, the regular 9B version can usually succeed in one try, while the 9B KV version almost never succeeds. It simply can't complete a proper face swap, which is honestly a shame. This is a very common use case, so there are definitely pros and cons here. In other words, if face replacement is a must-have feature for you, then you still need to keep the regular 9B model. Aside from that, you can use 9B KV for basically everything else. That wraps up my overview of these two updated models. You can think of this as a follow-up and supplement to the earlier model videos. All of the related files mentioned in this episode are available in the description or the comments, so feel free to grab them. If you have any questions, leave a comment and let's discuss. And don't forget to subscribe to ToolBuddy, where we dig deep into great tools and practical solutions, always trying to boost productivity little by little. See you in the next video.